Be wary, my son. Heed these words, for the fires of our past grow dim. From humble beginnings, a village became a nation, an empire. As clashing ambitions spurred the appetite of armies, plough and sickle gave way to sword and shield. Consumed by war, mankind found little solace, rushing to action on impulse without forethought. Religious devotion brought hope to some. But even then, many were consumed by zealotry, filling them with suspicion and fear. From this darkness, a glimmer of light emerged. A muse from ancient times long forgotten inspired great minds and ushered in a rebirth of art and science. As unanswered questions from the past found new illumination in a renewed thirst for knowledge, revelations from above provided insights below, spurring new advances throughout the world, bringing an end to one way of life, giving rise to another, leading brave souls to reach for the ends of the world and beyond. You must tread carefully, my son, for their charge now lies with you. Choose their path and guide your people through these ever-changing times.
Hello everyone, Alex here, and welcome to the first of what me and Josh both hope to be many solo playthroughs for this channel. Now the reason we're going to be doing solo playthroughs, we're still going to be doing our co-op of course, but even for single player games, most single player games at least, we're going to be doing, both of us commentating, obviously one of us playing, but both of us still commentating. But every now and then there's going to be a game where it would just be boring, let's put it that way, for the other person to watch, either because they have no interest, or it's just better with one person explaining what's going on, rather than two people. And this is a good example, Sid Meier's Civilization 5, which I'm going to be playing today, because I really love this game, and I really want to introduce some people to it. I'm going to be going through the basic mechanics of this game and explaining as I play along. I'm going to be playing seriously as I can for a single player game. I'm not going to be playing multiplayer because I'm not that great at this game, even though I love it. But I'm going to try and explain what's going on as it happens, and just of note, I'm playing the Gods and Kings expansion, which changes some of the mechanics a bit and adds two very big new mechanics to the game. So if you're just playing like the regular game, some of the stuff I'm going to be saying is different because they've changed some things to balance it out a bit. And so I'm going to be setting up a single player game now, and we'll see how I go. Okay, this is the setup game screen. It's fairly simple. I'm going to go through the steps. The first thing you got to do is choose the civilization you'll be playing as. Every civilization in this game, and there is a lot of them because I've downloaded all the DLCs plus the expansion packs, adds a couple. Every civilization comes with a bonus. Just for example, Alexander the Great comes with city-state influence, degrades at half and recovers at twice normal rate. Now that will make no sense to someone who hasn't played this game before, but you know, it's a good bonus, and everyone comes with a fairly balanced bonus, plus 2 exclusive either units or buildings to them, which change the game up a little. Like every time you play as someone else, it feels different, which is a nice thing. And they have a few bonuses and exclusive units and buildings. Just for example, Attila the Hun comes with horse archer and a battering ram, and Attila can raise cities at double speed, borrow city names from other in-game civs, start with animal husbandry technology, and +1 production per pasture. And it kind of reflects the real life civilizations, even though you're going to be having like Genghis Khan versus Gandhi. It does reflect kind of well, and their personalities kind of do as well, for NPCs that is, because I'm going to be playing with NPCs obviously, because I'm playing single player. Each leader has a personality, and I'll go into that more as I get to it. But for now, I'm going to be playing as, let me think, maybe Caesar. I'm going to be playing as Rome, and its leader is of course the most famous, Augustus Caesar. And the perk that comes with Rome is plus 25% production towards any buildings that already exist in the capital, which is quite useful, if I do say so myself. And he comes with a ballista and the legion bonus units. Map type in this game, there are continents, which is basically like the Earth is, made up of a couple of large continents. Pangea, which is one large continent. Archipelago, lots of small islands. Fractal, which is more thin continents, but still quite a few of them. And Earth, which is basically just Earth. The same continents you can see there. I'm going to go with the basics, which is continents. It's good for starting out in the game. Map size, I'm going to go small, and that is against 6. Overall there are 6 civilizations, and there are 12 city-states, which I'll go into more detail about what that means later. And difficulty level, like I said, I am not that great at that game. Anything over Prince, which is normal difficulty, I start to get I start to fail pretty badly. DT is just, holy cow, that's insane. I may play that later on, and you may see me get absolutely destroyed by computers. But for now I'm going to be playing Prince, and game pace standard. These games can get pretty long. Standard's a couple of hours. Marathon is just insane, but I'm going to be going in standard. Advanced setup here, you can change the civilizations you're facing instead of just them being random and all that stuff, but I'm not going to bother with that. I'm just going to start the game.
The blessings of the gods be upon you, Caesar Augustus, Emperor of Rome and all her holdings. Your empire was the greatest and longest lived of all in Western civilization, and your people single-handedly have shaped its culture, law, art and warfare like none other, before or since. Through years of glorious conquest, Rome came to dominate all the lands of the Mediterranean, from Spain in the west to Syria in the east, and her dominion would eventually expand to cover much of England and northern Germany. Roman art and architecture still awe and inspire the world, and she remains the envy of all lesser civilizations who have followed. O mighty Emperor, your people turn to you to once more reclaim the glory of Rome. Will you see to it that your empire rises again, bringing peace and order to all? Will you make Rome once again center of the world? Can you build a civilization that will stand the test of time?
Okay, so after that little introduction, you start off the game. And you start off with 2 units here. You got your settlers, which find cities, start-up cities that is, and you got your warriors, which kill people. I'm gonna move my warriors over a little bit here and move my settlers over here. Okay, so basically city placement is very important in this game. Like, once I find a good place, I click this button here to found city. Depending on where you start on the map, you need to look round and see if there's any fresh water, which is very useful. And as you can see, I'm next to a lake, which is very useful. But also another thing to look for is resources. Resources basically give you bonuses in happiness, like incense right here. When improved, you get +4 happiness. And gold, you get +4 happiness for this as well. I'll explain what that means later, but happiness is very important. So you got to look around for resources. Weed is over here, but it's a bit far away for the city. Basically, anything close to the city. This is the city's borders, and this will grow as the game goes on. And anything in the city's borders will be able to be worked on, and you can get happiness from this, and so on and so forth. And I've already placed my city, but another thing to look out for when you're placing cities is the yield from the tiles around the city. Yield comes in 3 flavors: food, which is the apple, production, which is the hammer, and gold, which is the coin. And that's basically just what that tile produces. Anything like what that tile gives to the city, I mean by that. Anything with 3 icons is considered pretty good, and I got it pretty good here. I got 2 resources and a lot of free yield tiles. I'm going to put this in tiled hex view so you can show what I mean when I'm saying tiles. The yield icons and the resource icons are very important to have on, which you saw me do before. Just so you can know, like when you're placing a city, what's around there, what bonuses you'll get from it. And the hex grid is good for starting out because you can see where you're going and such. Okay, so I've placed my city, and now every city needs to be producing something. This is the city screen, and as you can see, my food production is +2, my production is +4, my gold is +4, my science from the city is +4, my faith from this city is +0, and my culture from the city is +1. I will go through each of those very shortly. So you need to choose production for this city. Basically, each city is going to be producing one thing at all times. No. Basically, you have to choose something for your city to produce, and they can only produce one thing at one time, but each city can produce different things. You can produce units and you can produce buildings. For example, you can produce another warrior, like this guy over here, and it'll take 10 turns, because I am producing 4 production and it costs 40 production, so it would take 10 turns. The thing I'm going to produce is a scout, and I'll tell you why. Because the very most important thing in these opening stages of the game is to explore this area that has fog of war over it, and find places where you can perhaps set up another city, or find other players which you can start off a good relationship with, or city-states which you can start off a good relationship with. And there's also a few other things which hopefully I'll be able to find so I can explain them. And I've already started sending my warriors out, which you can see right here. But the scout moves much more quickly than these slow warriors here. So that's why I'm going to be producing a scout. And as you can see, it will take 7 turns because it costs 25 and I have production of 4 coming from this city. Now, the next thing that I need to do on this very first turn is choose research. You can see up here I'm producing 4 research overall, and that's just the 4 that's coming from the city. As you can see, 4 science. It's not called research, my bad. 4 science from the city. So I need to research something using this science, and it works a lot like production, except you can only be doing 1 at a time. It's not like each city will be producing a different research. You can only do 1 at a time. This is for your entire civilization, and this is your technology tree, and you work through it by choosing a technology and moving along, taking different paths, each like opening up different avenues for your civilization to flourish. And like production, it takes 9 turns to do pottery, for example, because I'm producing 4 science each turn, and it costs 35 science. So if my science increases during its production, that means it'll go quick, like at a quicker pace. So I need to choose technology. Basically, your first choice of technology comes from what is around you. Like resources is a very good example. Since there are resources around me, like incense and gold, you can see over in the corner there, just above the choose research button, it says incense requires calendar. So if I wanted to mine or like gather the stuff needed for incense, which I do want to achieve because that gives me +4 happiness, I need the calendar technology, which is right here. I have to first research pottery, but if I click on calendar, it will start researching pottery, and once that's done, start researching calendar, taking 9 + 14 turns, so 23 turns with my current science output. And with that, I am done for this turn. Next turn.